So today is actually we're going to see what Trump is made of. I guess you can say. I'm really at a loss as to where to start with this guy. Let me start with how I'm impressed. It's going to shock a lot of people. He just made a move with regard to healthcare that I think is actually a brilliant political move that wagers. It's a big risk. Big risk, big reward, big risk, big failure. Now, I'm not speaking on the nature of the bill of the American Health Care Act, blah blah blah. I'm not talking about all the things it's going to do to hurt people. We've discussed that ad nauseum. I'm also not talking about anything other than the fact that Donald Trump just made a power play with his own party. I think it's ultimately going to backfire. But first, I guess I should tell you what the hell it is. So Donald Trump, according to Reuters, issued an ultimatum to Republicans to fall in line behind a quote, a broad health insurance overhaul, or he will not support their affordable care, their desire to repeal the Affordable Care Act. In other words, support this bill that you were supposed to have voted on today, or else I'm not going to do anything to overturn Obamacare. This is a power play. And I hate to use that type of language with regard to a guy who thinks he's the king of power plays. But this is classic politics. This is something LBJ would have done, kind of ramming this through his own party. And keep in mind, he's doing this on a piece of legislation that he should not have gotten behind in the first place. Right. Probably a piece of legislation that he doesn't even know what the hell is in there. So it's not a brilliant move on behalf of a brilliant piece of legislation. It's a brilliant move on behalf of someone trying to save face because he put all of his political capital behind a bill that was not draconian enough for the Freedom Caucus, but too draconian for moderate Republicans, or at least Republicans that are at risk in their districts. So this is according to Reuters. Again, there's a quote from Representative Chris Collins of New York. He said, the president has said that he wants to vote tomorrow, up or down. If for any reason it's down, we're just going to move forward with additional parts of his agenda, like tax reform. I mean, this is also a great way, again, for him to save face and to make it seem as though he is in control of the destiny of this bill or his policy agenda. Ultimately, he's trying to insulate himself from the damage that's going to occur when this bill doesn't pass. He went to the Hill today, made calls, or he went to the Hill on yesterday, made calls trying to pressure the Freedom Caucus, trying to pressure the 29 members of the Freedom Caucus to support this bill. They, when I say they, other members of the people who are writing the legislation, try to make it seem as though they were going to give some concessions and to attack Medicare and Medicaid directly. This is what the Freedom Caucus wants. So you got to keep in mind, right? The Freedom Caucus, in a way, and we discussed this yesterday, the Freedom Caucus, in a way, they're helping people by wanting to hurt people even more. And I think that's so fascinating. Like, they want to hurt more people by attacking Medicaid and Medicare directly. They don't want those type of entitlements to begin with, but by being recalcitrant with regards to those and intransigent with regards to those safety nets, I guess we can call them, because I can't think of the word I'm looking for right now. But because they want to attack that directly, they are stalling this plan that is ultimately going to hurt millions of Americans. So because I can't hurt you enough, they're going to actually help Americans. The Congressional Budget Office actually came out with revised numbers today showing that it's actually this bill, Ryan Care, Trumpcare, is going to hurt many more people than they originally estimated. It's going to hurt the deficit. It's going to increase the deficit even more. And so here we are with a piece of legislation that Donald Trump should have never gotten behind in the first place. And now he's put all of his political capital behind it. He's put phone calls behind it. He's put his name, his reputation, his press secretary went out today, just today, and said that tonight this is going to pass, and it's not going to pass. So they put the entire force the weight of the White House behind a piece of legislation that they should never have gotten behind in the first place. And quite frankly, Donald Trump probably doesn't know what the hell is in it. They put all this political capital behind it only to have it explode in their face. And now he has to make a power play. And the power play is get with the program, Republicans, and support this bill. And if you don't, then I will not get behind anything. We're going to move on from healthcare. We're not going to talk about healthcare anymore. I think this is a big risk. But you have to ask yourself, put yourself in the seat, in the place of the Republicans who are fighting against it. And again, one more caveat, one more side note, rather. It is so fitting and so beautiful and so perfect that this is being scuttled by his own party. This is not, I mean, the Democrats don't have enough. I mean, they literally, Republicans can do whatever the hell they want. They have the House, they have the Senate, and they have the White House. And they can't get this bill that they have been wishing for and dreaming about for 7 years. And I think today is 7 years to the day since they passed Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. And they've been dreaming about repealing it all of this time. And here they are. They have the opportunity. They have the platform. They have the representation, and they can't get it done because half of the caucus, or not half, but a small percentage of the caucus really wants to hurt Americans even more than Donald Trump wants to. And the other part of the Republican caucus says that they can't afford, they can't risk taking away these benefits that people are thriving on, that are helping people out. So it's so fitting that we find ourselves in this position where the Republicans are cannibalizing themselves. They are contributing to their own political demise. And in order to save face, Donald Trump has put this ultimatum on the table. Here's how ultimatums work, though, right? They can work out spectacularly for you, but they can also come back and destroy you, right? So this could ultimately, tomorrow morning, if they don't have an up or down vote, Donald Trump could permanently enshrine Obamacare in the American system to the detriment of all of those politicians, including himself, who promised that they're going to repeal and replace. I can't imagine a more fitting end to this than Republicans really having a civil war and destroying themselves over something that they were supposed to be working on and actually planning for 7 years. And again, like I said on many other episodes, this is the reason they can't find a solution, a better solution, is because ideologically they can't go any further to the right on a policy than Obamacare already is. Obamacare is a conservative policy. Obamacare is a market-based system that does not do anything to undermine the healthcare industry. It actually is a give me to the healthcare industry. So Republicans can't really find anything better because of their ideological constraints. But instead, they are now running around like chickens without a head, threatening each other. And I would really love to see how the Republican caucus responds to this. I'm sure we'll see within the next few hours. Probably by the time most of you listen to this tomorrow morning, you'll have that answer. But what human nature really is that what is more important to them, their pride, because Donald Trump has challenged their pride and their ego, or their desire to get rid of Obamacare. So a lot of people are going to be weighing that in the balance tonight. And I believe that Donald Trump is getting ready to run up against the ego of a whole bunch of other white, rich, privileged men. You start measuring the size of each other's egos and you have a pissing match, and really nobody wins. But in this case, America wins because Obamacare will stay in place at least until a really progressive campaign comes in, administration comes in and gives a single payer.